Good morning. I think we'll get started. I know people will still trickle in, but we have two great speakers today, so I don't want to be delayed at all in starting this. This is our third Sunday in How to Live a Matthew 25 Life in a World That Doesn't Value Compassion. And this week we're focusing on the portion of the parable that says, I was a prisoner and you took care of me. So I'm excited about the speakers we have today. Pastor Samm Melton-Hill serves as the lead pastor of New Beginnings Worshiping Community, a congregation that happens to meet inside the Denver Women's Correctional Facility. Pastor Samm also serves as the pastor of Highlands Lutheran Church in North Denver, a transitional congregation for people reentering the community after incarceration. A graduate of Harvard Divinity School, they are an ordained minister of Word and Sacrament with the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And next to her is Lola, a passionate leader and advocate for second chances, currently serving as the director of the Other Side Academy. With a deep commitment to transformative rehabilitation and community impact, Lola's work empowers individuals to rebuild their lives through accountability, discipline, and service. Lola's dedication to fostering personal growth and sustainable change continues to shape the Other Side Academy's mission of providing hope and opportunity to those seeking a new path forward. Her vision is to create a community where everyone has the chance to thrive and contribute positively to society. And she's also brought with her Monica Mays with the Academy. And I just have to give a shout out to a friend who's here. She first told me about the Other Side Academy. One of the many enterprises that that you'll learn more about is they have a furniture boutique. And if you have to get rid of a lot of furniture, you can call and schedule an appointment, and they come pick up your furniture, and it goes to their boutique. So I used them. My friend has used them. They're fantastic. And then what I need to do is go down to the boutique and see some of the great furniture that they have for sale. So please first welcome Pastor Samm Melton-Hill.
Good morning. Am I on? Yeah, okay. It is so lovely to be with you all this morning. Thank you for the introduction as well. So I serve in something called a yoked call, which is a fancy way of saying that I have two part-time calls that are related to one another. So I serve a small Lutheran congregation in North Denver, Highlands Lutheran Church, and then also as the pastor at New Beginnings Worshiping Community. As she mentioned, happens to meet inside the Denver Women's Prison. And we operate a lot like your congregation here probably does. We have an inside council and an outside council. So our inside council is made up of a leadership team of residents who reside at Denver Women's Prison, and they help organize worship and make the church run in all the normal ways your council here probably does. And our outside council is made up of a group of volunteers that help do all the other functions of a church that we can't do from inside prison, budgets and payroll and all of that fun stuff. So I wanted to share a little bit about New Beginnings specifically, but I find a lot of people have a lot of questions about prison in general. So I'll leave plenty of time afterwards for any curiosities you may have. I always like to start too and say that no question is too silly or too dumb. Whatever you're curious about prison, about New Beginnings, I am happy to entertain and to be curious along with you. So our mission and vision is probably all the things you can imagine a congregation inside prison might be. We love watching the stories of redemption and transformation that take place from our women that end up getting involved with New Beginnings. But what I really want to highlight is that New Beginnings is the only LGBTQ plus affirming ministry currently operating inside the Department of Corrections. Throughout all state prisons, we're the only ones that are open and affirming. And this matters a lot at DW because we house cis women, trans men, and non-binary folks. And so our community tends to be known as one that is open and affirming and all-inclusive in that way. I heard you guys were already doing Matthew 25. This was unplanned. When I go to congregations, we usually read this together, so I'm sure you're familiar. I like to highlight some language notes too as we're talking and sharing. Particularly the word residents. We like to use the word residents at DW instead of inmates or offenders or criminals. We have found that language is much more empowering to folks that happen to be there and helps us move away from some of the negative labels that the state or the criminal system tends to place on each other. When we're talking about correctional officers as well, we try not to use words like guard. Instead, they prefer to be officers or correctional officers. You've probably already heard me use this language of inside and outside. Everything we do at the prison is often referred to in those terms. So inside is, of course, anything that happens to be taking place inside the fences of the prison. And outside is the outside world that you and I are living in right now. That language is really important because it shapes everyone's lives who happen to be inside, right? Their families on the outside, typically, they may have kids on the outside, and it's not only this very physical separation that happens with the fence, but this really emotional separation that begins to happen too. And so as we use that language, I just hope you're familiar. I'm also wondering, do we know the difference between jail and prison? No, most people don't, so that's okay. Colorado is the prison capital of the US. We have more prisons per resident. I think I have some stats available for us. So jail is typically run by the county, and that is where people will go before they are sentenced, before they have a trial, before maybe they enter a plea deal. And so the jail culture is very different than a prison culture. There's a lot more anxiety, a lot more uncertainty in jail. People are dealing a lot more with their lawyers, trying to kind of figure out what the next few years of their life is going to look like. And there's not a ton of programming available at jails either, at least long-term programming. So it's more of anticipated to be a short-term stay. That being said, prisons are often where people go once they have already been sentenced. So by the time they get to us at Denver Women's Prison, or DW, they kind of already know what the next few years of their life is going to be. They know what their sentence is going to look like. They may be in an appeal process or something like that, but things have been finalized and they're starting to kind of come to terms with what's actually happening in their lives. And so prison also tends to have a lot more programming, a lot more rehabilitative programming available to people, GED classes, work programs, Bible studies, all sorts, AA, NA, all sorts of programs available in prison. And for us, I found that the sort of emotional toll of being a chaplain at prison is very different than the setting of jail, which is why I mentioned that. Also, most of us don't know the difference between and hopefully never have to be in that system. It's important for me to note that, yeah, Colorado has a prison problem. We love building prisons. A lot of our economy is built off prisons in ways we don't even recognize. You can read all my stats and things, but I think what's important to note is that once you're involved in the system, it's very difficult to get out. There's a large percentage of the population at DW that were involved in the foster care system as well. Over 90% of the women at Denver Women's Prison have been in domestic violence or intimate partner violence situations, and over 70% grew up below the poverty line as well. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the poverty to prison pipeline, but Colorado specifically has an issue with this. In addition to our state systems, so the Colorado Department of Corrections, we have a bunch of federal prisons here as well. In addition to ICE detention centers, the state is also looking at building another ICE detention center. So much of our economy is built off of this. And I think it's important for us to note that women are disproportionately affected by this economy as well. So a little bit about Denver Women's. We house about 975 residents. It's minimum to maximum security prison, anything from 6 months to life without parole sentences. And if you've ever driven by it, it's down in Aurora off Havana Street. There's actually a men's facility and a women's facility that are in the same spot, and it's separated by a fence line. So the other part, if you're ever driving by, you might notice, says Denver DRDC, where most men will go to be processed through to another state facility, and then our permanent women's facility as well. Colorado has 2 women's facilities, so Denver Women's and La Vista. New Beginnings is currently in the process of starting a New Beginnings down at La Vista because we found that women get transferred between the 2 facilities quite often. And there's just not as much programming down at the La Vista facility. It's down south by Pueblo. By nature of not as many people live down there as Denver, so there's just not as much programming. And so we're hoping to start in the next year or so another program down there, and kind of the same setup we have now with a yoked pastor that is both in the community and at the facility as well. I find people are really curious about what it looks like in prison, so I try to include a little bit of pictures. These are the cells or the cell blocks at Denver Women's and DRDC. It looks like just like you would expect, right, or what you've seen on TV probably. This is general population, so this is where you'll go once you come into prison. And then we also have a drug treatment program as well, and an incentive unit, and that's going to be more of a setup like a college dorm, right? People have control over their doors. There's communal bathrooms and kitchens. We have a canine training program. So those units you kind of have to work your way into, and if you're on good behavior, no write-ups, anything like that, you can usually work your way there within about a year. It feels much more human in those units, I will say as well, much more privacy. The general population units have open showers and open bathrooms, and it's a pretty dehumanizing place to try to live and regain any sense of yourself. Again, a bunch of stats. I will send these out to you. But what I find is the stats are staggering when you start to really take a look at them. But particularly what I find is when we connect with individuals and with people that our hearts begin to be changed, right? It's the statistics we can look at and they're overwhelming and we say, what do we do with this problem? And yet when we start interacting with people on the inside and learn their stories, we begin to believe in redemption, right? I like to tell the story of Maria. She's been in part of New Beginnings for over 10 years. She has a life without parole sentence. And when she came into prison, she didn't speak any English. She only spoke Spanish. And imagine how confusing and difficult the criminal and legal system is if you don't speak English. It's incredibly hard. She talks a lot about not only being scared, but just having this view of herself. She uses the word garbage a lot. Like, I felt like garbage that was discarded by this system, and that I couldn't advocate for myself in. And so when she came to DW, she taught herself English. If you spoke to her now, you would have no idea English is her second language. If you ever join us for worship, which you're welcome to, I'll share about how to do that in a second, she will be the first one to greet you with the biggest smile on her face. She is hilarious and kind and compassionate. And so after she taught herself English, she put herself through the GED program, and she talked about sort of slowly showing up at New Beginnings services and hearing a message of grace and love and hearing that God did not view her as garbage, that God calls her beloved. And she said it took her 6 years of hearing that message every week for her to really start to internalize and believe it. And as she started doing that, we saw her as she, got a different job, as she started investing in the community at Denver Women. She became a mentor for new women coming in. She runs several fundraisers each year where they support the dog program and other organizations that are important to them. And it's just been incredible to watch her sort of this slow change over the years of believing that grace and forgiveness and love is for her. And she tells her story a lot. I think her story might be on our website as well. But she's just this incredible woman. And so even though we look at all the statistics and we can be overwhelmed by it, I think encountering people like Maria and like other folks on our Inside Council is really transformative, and it makes us believe in the power of the message we share every Sunday about Jesus' love and grace for us. And it takes on a new meaning in that place, right? When I'm preaching to a bunch of people that are incarcerated by this system and have unimaginable trauma and difficulty in their life, the message of Christ is so much more powerful. And when those officers are walking up and down the aisles during church, it means something different when we talk about the empire, when we talk about being against the empire and a Jesus that loves us so deeply that wouldn't want us to be entrapped in these systems. And so I do hope you'll be able to join us for worship one day. We worship on Sundays at 2:20, and if you would like to join us, there's a bunch of information in the back. You just have to fill out a pretty simple form to come visit with us, but we would love to have you. We're part of something called the Prison Congregations of America, which is the model we're using now, where we have our own congregation inside. We aren't an outside church or congregation coming in to offer something. And Prison Congregations of America really believes in the empowerment of raising up leaders within the system to create their own communities and their own congregations. And so we love, part of that model is to invite folks from the outside to come visit with us too, not to volunteer or lead, but just to come worship with us. Really neat experience if you would like to join us. I also like to raise up, I know you're Presbyterian, but I'm Lutheran, and we're in full communion with one another, which is good. But we understand prison ministry as kind of these three prongs, right? So we have direct services on the inside, which is what New Beginnings is doing. Advocacy, we have some people working on policy changes through Together Colorado to help affect life on the inside, and then reentry support. And so New Beginnings offers some reentry support as well. We find that when folks get out, those first 2 weeks are really difficult. Even if they've been working on the inside, it takes some time for their money to hit their debit card when they get out. So they may be at a bus stop with literally nothing, no clothes, no hygiene products or anything like that. And so Highlands helps support that those kind of first couple weeks when people get out by providing some reentry support through basic needs. Our inside council this past year, when we were sort of talking about the difficulty of getting out, they really saw this gap of that first 2 weeks to a month and wanted New Beginnings to start to answer that. And so partnering with Highlands, we started something called Cowboys Closet, and that closet has anything that they may need, Walmart gift cards, hygiene products, clothes, that sort of thing, coats, to help get people set up in those, right when they walk out the doors. I can meet them there at the prison, drive them if they're going to a halfway house or another program, and provide some of those basic needs for them. Cowboys Closet came, I adopted my dog, who's a mini Aussie from the K-9 program at the prison, and his name is Cowboy, and so that's how they came up with Cowboys Closet. It's very sweet. If you're ever inside and you ask about Cowboy, they will all know who you're talking about. I think I mentioned most of this. Yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, so mostly I want to share with you what an impact New Beginnings has had. And I serve not only as the pastor at New Beginnings, but also as an interfaith chaplain throughout the week at Denver Women's. And it's such an incredible call that I get to be a part of. And I love being able to share with you our folks, about our folks on the inside, but I mostly wish that you could hear from them directly. And so we don't have time today, but I have a video on our website that I invite you to go watch afterwards. It's only 6 minutes, and you'll see a bunch of the women from our inside council on there who can share with you themselves how New Beginnings has impacted them. They, like I said, are an incredible group of people. And yeah, I'm gonna let Lola go next, but plenty of time for questions after. That was my little elevator spiel about what exactly New Beginnings is. But we, of course, do a lot more, too, and would love to welcome you to worship with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lola Strong, and I'm the managing director of a program called the Other Side Academy. We're located here in Denver. And before I start, I just want to thank you so much, Pastor Samm, for the work that you do in the prisons. When I was in prison, I remember going to Mass, and I remember it just gave me so much hope. I was in such a dark place every time I was incarcerated, and if it wasn't for people like you that brought the message of hope in, I don't know what I would do. So I really appreciate the work that you do, so thank you. So again, I'm here to tell you all about a program called the Other Side Academy. I am the managing director, and before I was the managing director of the Other Side Academy, I just want to tell you a little bit about my life. We are talking about Matthew 25, and I just want to talk about the help that I received. I had a pretty normal childhood. I grew up in a really great family, and in my 20s, I was injured. I was injured and I was taken to the hospital, and I was introduced to pain medication. The pain medication helped the pain at the time, but it did something else for me. It gave me this sense of self-esteem and self-worth, something that I had always been looking for. And when the pain eventually dissipated, my need to really want to take this medication never went away. That spiraled into a very long decade journey of just this horrible drug addiction. It eventually led to heroin. I was homeless on the streets of Southern California. I've been to prison 4 times, and it truly just ravaged my life in a way that, when I reflect back, it really makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I tried lots of things. My family loved me. I had a great support system. They dragged me by my ear to rehab. I've been to several rehabs, and when I was in rehab, I was fine. I was in a structured environment, but most of these rehabs were about 30 days long, and that just wasn't enough for me to get the tools that I needed and to learn how to use these tools instinctually so that I could become somebody different. So years and years and years went by of just one relapse after another, one bottom after another, until I was sitting in the county jail again. I was on my way to prison for the 5th time, and this time I was going for a really long time. And I heard about a program that the judge every now and again would give you an opportunity to go to this program as opposed to going to prison. So that was really a motivating factor for me, but I also want you to know that I was dead inside. I hated the way that I was living my life. I was demoralized. I was homeless. I was estranged from my family. I was using my body as an ATM. I had no regard for myself at all. And there was something inside me that knew this isn't the way that God intended for me to live my life. I knew that there was a better way. And so I wrote a letter out of desperation to this program, and I got an interview. And by the grace of God, this program accepted me. It was a 2-year program, nothing like anything I had ever done before. And so I begged for the opportunity with my public defender, and by the grace of God, this judge gave me an opportunity to go to this program. And my desperation turned into motivation, because the very first person that I saw at this program was somebody that I knew. I recognized her because I did lots of time in jail and prison with her. I spent a lot of time homeless on the streets with her, and she looked familiar to me, but everything else about her was different. The way she carried herself, her self-esteem, her self-worth, everything was different. And for me, I felt like that was a gift from God. He put somebody in my life that gave me instant credibility that the program that I was at could work for me too, if I did exactly what she did. And that's what I set out to do. I took advantage of this program with everything that I had, and it changed my life. My court-ordered 2-year commitment was complete. I loved what I was doing. I electively decided to stay a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and almost a 6th year, because my new drug of choice became helping other people. I graduated the program. I thought my life was better than it had ever been, until somebody approached me, and they wanted to replicate this program that saved my life. And they asked me if I was interested in running the women's program. I packed my bags and I went to Salt Lake City, Utah back in 2014, and we began the program, The Other Side Academy. So The Other Side Academy is a 30-month residential program for men and women that have hit rock bottom like I did. There's 3 things that make us different than your ordinary rehab. Number 1, we're long. We're 2.5 years. Number 2, we are free. We don't take any government funding. You don't have to have rich mommy and daddy. You don't have to have any type of insurance. We're a free program. And the 3rd thing that makes us different is there's no doctors and therapists. Everybody that works at the Other Side Academy has lived experience. What I mean by lived experience is I'm going to use all of the experience that I had living on the streets and conquering my own demons to reach my hand out and help other people. There's 2 ways that you can get to the Other Side Academy. You can write us a letter from the county jail, and we'll come in and we'll interview you face to face. If you're a good fit for our program, we'll send you a letter of acceptance, and then we'll work with the district attorney and the judge to see if we can convince them to give you an opportunity to come and fix your life for 30 months as opposed to going to DOC where really nothing changes. If you're not incarcerated, you're able to walk in off the streets. We're located centrally right here on York Street in the City Park area, directly across the street from City Park, right next door to a restaurant called Syrup, big, beautiful white mansion. What we do at the Other Side Academy is we don't call people residents, we call them students. It's an academy. It's kind of like a boot camp for life. We teach people how to recalibrate their moral compass. I needed to recalibrate my moral compass. I needed to learn how to be honest again, how to have integrity, how to be accountable when I made a mistake rather than try to conceal it and lie and wait till I got caught. We teach people how to have boundaries. We teach people how to deal with their anger, their feelings, and their emotions. And those aren't things that you can really accomplish over a 30-day period. That's why we find the sweet spot is 30 months. We also have a very strong emphasis on vocational training. We teach people how to work, how to develop a monster work ethic, how to get up every day and have a good attitude and go to work. And we teach them valuable skills that make them marketable, because at the end of 2 years, we help them get a job. The Other Side Academy is a remarkable place. I see human transformation happen at the Other Side Academy every day. Monica is a student at the Other Side Academy. She's been with us for 2 years, and she's electively decided to stay a third year. One thing I want to mention about the Academy is we don't accept any government funding. When we're living out on the streets or we're going in and out of jail and prison, who takes care of that? All of you guys do, the taxpayers. But when you get to the Other Side Academy, you become part of the solution. We don't take any government funding. What we do is we own and operate our own vocational training schools that generate revenue. The revenue covers operational expenses and also gives our students the opportunity to gain skills and gain a work ethic. We have a moving company. Some of you may have heard of the Other Side Movers. We do about 300 moves a month. We're rated #1 moving company in the Denver metro area. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you think about that for a moment, #1 moving company in the Denver metro area, over 5,000 reviews, 5-star reviews. And this is a company that's started by men and women that would otherwise be homeless on the streets, addicted, or incarcerated. I have a little funny joke. We're really good at moving your furniture because we used to do it when you were asleep. We'd sneak in through your window, but now you actually give us a call and you hire us because you trust our ability to move your most treasured belongings. We also have a furniture boutique. Furniture Boutique is located on Spear and Federal Boulevard. It's a very lightly used furniture boutique. We have tons of gems there. We do free donation pickups, so if you're doing any type of spring or winter cleaning and you have some furniture that you don't have any use for anymore, we'd be happy to come on out to your home and pick it up and use it for a charitable donation for the Other Side Academy. The Other Side Academy is a place where we're part of the community. If any of you are ever interested in coming and stopping by and having a tour, we'd love to have you. I'm really just blessed to be here and to be able to tell you a little bit about the Other Side Academy, and Monica and I are really eager to answer any questions that you guys might have for us. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to tell you a little bit about our mission in the community.
Wow, that was so inspiring, all three of you. Thank you so much. I'm going to come around with a mic if folks have questions, if you can raise your hand. Oh, I forgot. So there are materials on that back table, both for the Other Side Academy and for New Beginnings. So take some as you walk out and raise your hand if you have a question.
Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Hi, it's so wonderful to see you, Lola. I'm Marilyn Ackerman. We've been communicating this week. I got introduced to you and your program by Together Colorado. Thank you for mentioning us in your New Beginnings presentation. We partnered with the Denver Police Department, Together Colorado, and we formed an anti-racist curriculum, and then we go walk with them, the new recruits before they go into the academy for 6 months. We walk with them in community for 2 weeks, and the Other Side is one of the places we visited. I was blown away because I work in the criminal justice space of cops, courts, and cages in that whole maze of statistics you put up there. And this is an opportunity for all of you who want to see solutions that are positive and eliminates recidivism, in my opinion, go and visit, because the people that work there and the people that live there are amazing. And we get to have lunch with you every time we have a recruit class go through. And the recruits, because now they're learning about this, oh, I could drop a homeless person off who says they want to change their life. I can drop them off in the middle of the night at the Other Side Academy in this beautiful mansion across from City Park. And those stories are amazing, and the recruits are like writing it down, they're putting it in their phones for when they become a police officer. So thank you for the inspiration. I wanted to ask, in New Beginnings, we used to have a partnership here with Montview with an educational program that I understand no longer exists. Is there an alternative now for like getting your GED? Or it was more than that, it was like life skills.
Yeah. If you could grab the mic from Lola. Thank you.
Thank you. No, you're good.
Oh, sorry, I forgot, you're on the headset.
Am I on now? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different programs at DW. I can't think of the number off the top of my head, but when COVID happened, the whole program and volunteer systems all got shut down. We were all kicked out. The entire facility was on lockdown for over a year and a half. So 23 hours a day, people were in their cells, not able to engage in any other programming. Since COVID, we've started coming back, but the staffing for DOC is quite low at the moment, and so a lot of these programs have just not come back by nature of the facility not being able to support them in the same way. We do still have a GED program. We also have college courses available as well, partner with Adams State. There are lots of vocational programs available at DW. We have a coffee roasting program where people learn how to be baristas and do roast beans, and I know many have worked with Convict Coffee Company down in Parker as well. My other fun fact is if you've ever driven on the E470 toll road, your license plate is processed by women at DW, so your license plate and a picture of you driving goes on their computer screen, so don't be doing weird things in your car because we see it. They like to save those. It's a pretty funny wall. But yeah, they process those license plate for E470. There's all sorts, like dog training program, all sorts of programs available like that. And then in addition, volunteer programs that are run like AA, NA, New Beginnings, Catholic Mass, all sorts of things. And those are only on Saturdays and Sundays right now. They used to be throughout the entire week, which we have found really gave people something to look forward to in the middle of the week. And so everything's stacked on Saturday and Sunday right now, which can be really difficult. I think one misconception people have about prison is that people are just like sitting around not doing anything all day. What I have found is like their schedules are packed, and if I'm trying to make an appointment with something, I have to do it like on their lunch break from work or during a break from class. People are busy. If they're using the tools that are available to them on the inside, there is a lot available. Yeah, and so it's all sorts of stuff you could imagine that you could certainly get involved with outside of New Beginnings. Yeah.
The Other Side Academy also has a strong emphasis on, we have a GED program, we have lots of vocational training departments. We have a culinary department where you can get certified in your food handlers and your food management, so people that have an opportunity to work a few rotations in culinary can get a job in a restaurant or a bakery. The people that work on the moving company learned how to drive the big trucks, the big 26-foot trucks, so they're prepared to get driving jobs. We have people that work in accounting that learn QuickBooks. We have another department that does Salesforce. So we really try to teach people skills that will make them marketable upon graduation. That's really important to us.
Very important.
I'd just like to say a quick kudos to Other Side Movers. We stumbled upon them by accident or perhaps divine intervention. But if you have ever had troubles with a moving company, we would highly recommend Other Side Movers. Their customer service is wonderful. They will do almost anything for you, and we have enjoyed working with them so much. It's a long story, but we have used them for probably 5 or 6 moves within the area in Colorado Springs, and we can't say enough good things. I don't believe they're allowed to accept tips, but we always buy them lunch when they're moving us, and then we can sit and talk with them, and we've had some wonderful conversations with these people. They really are superb. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's music to my ears.
I would just like a sense of numbers. How many people are in your residence, and then how many on a Sunday at 2:20 are at a typical service? I can't exactly figure that out.
So the Other Side Academy currently has 80 men and women. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Old Doll Museum on Gaylord. It's a big, beautiful yellow mansion. It used to be a doll museum. We just were able to acquire that home, and we did a ribbon cutting ceremony on that, and that just gave us 50 more beds. So we're at 80, but we have the ability to grow to 130 over the next couple of years. So we do not have a waiting list.
Yeah, on a Sunday, it fluctuates quite a bit. For example, today the Broncos play at 2:20, so so maybe 50 to 75 today. On a good normal Sunday, maybe 100 to 150. Christmas, 300. So yeah, it fluctuates a lot.
So first of all, I echo the comments about the movers. I got to tell you, same experience, just amazing. So, but my question kind of tags on to yours, which is, as I was sitting here listening to the numbers that you presented about the amount of incarcerated people in Colorado and how extreme it is, and then this wonderful program and the success rate that you have, it seems to me that the demand would far exceed the supply. And I think it's admirable that you don't take federal money, but how do you do it, and how do you keep expanding so that you can help more people? It would seem to be probably one of your biggest things that you wrestle with, would be my guess.
Yeah, so we are a great program, but we're not a perfect fit for everybody. Not everybody that we interview is willing to commit to 30 months. So it really takes a certain individual that has hit rock bottom and is ready to do whatever it takes. So because of the length of the program, there are many people that just aren't interested. We also, as I said, we're a peer-run community, so there's a few categories of folks that we can't help. We don't take sex offenders, we don't take arsonists, and because we don't have doctors and therapists, anybody that's severely duly diagnosed, maybe schizophrenic or bipolar, wouldn't be a good fit for our program. So it really does limit the amount of people that we're able to accept. As I said, our social enterprises do cover operational expenses, but when we expand, we do capital campaigns, and we do reach out to foundations. And we have a lot of foundations in the Denver area that support us when we need to buy a new property. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to hear about the programs that you guys are doing. So we are foster parents, and so we're always looking for ways and programs that can support the parents in their journey. And so wondering, what's the involvement with kids, like people who maybe need to stay at the other side who have kids? What's that interaction like, and what kind of, what's a good fit?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question, and I'm going to just be completely honest with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I hurt my children so much in my addiction. I would get out of jail or I would get out of prison, and I would promise that I was never going to leave them again and that I was back for good. My daughter would actually say to me, "Mom, will you be here in the morning to do my hair before school?" And I would promise her that I was going to be there. And the minute she'd go to sleep, I'd be off and running the streets again. And all I ever did was just break promise after promise after promise after promise. And so at the Other Side Academy, we really don't want to be a part of breaking promises to any children. So we do have a stipulation and we have a rule. And the rule is that you're going to commit to working on yourself for a significant amount of time. You're going to take 15 months and you're going to stay committed to the program. And you're going to do the work that's required to become a good person and to become somebody who's prepared to be a parent. Because after spending decades out on the streets, you just don't know how to be a parent. You don't even know how to take care of yourself. And being a parent is really, really important. And so we don't allow that communication right away, but part of their treatment plan as they progress is to reunify them with their children when the time is right. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll add briefly to that too. You know, a lot of the conversations I have on the inside is how do you be a mom while you're locked up? And I've seen people do it really well, and I've seen people really struggle, especially once CPS is involved. And it's a question I think we think about a lot. We have a program where we send, there's a book on the back called Milo. It's one of my favorite books. It's a very cute children's book where women can record them reading the nighttime story to their kid and then send a video out. But it's a question, you know, how do you parent from the inside? I think is a good thing for us to ponder and think about.
Hi, good morning. Again, thanks for being here and sharing the information about the work that you do. I'd like to hear from Monica. You know, tell us what you want to tell us. You don't have to tell us how you got there, but if you want to, you can. But tell us what your experience has been at the other side and why you're staying another year.
Okay, so I'm staying another year because it has completely changed my life. I've received my happiness. I've received self-discipline there. I've learned how to have structure in my life. I've learned how to love others the way that they deserve to be loved. I've been in and out of prison the last decade of my life, so I got to a point in my life where it was neither I'm going to go down this path forever or I'm going to figure out how to change it. And that's when I ran into the Other Side Academy. It's been the best choice I've made my entire life. And I'm going to probably, after this third year, there's only one way that you can become staff there. That's my goal. My end goal is to help the next person. My hero is this woman right here. And you have to look at it like this, like she had to go through all her trials and tribulations to get where she's at today, and I'm gonna be there someday too. So that's what has kind of, you know, and I have children as well. I've taken the time. I am getting close to maybe reunifying with them soon. However, those are things that are like, you know, in the future. And I'm just happy where I'm at today because I can show up for the rest of my life and their life as a functioning member of society, as a parent, an adult, whatever that looks like. So that's kind of where I came from, where I'm going.
So sort of tell us what your day looks like. Are you in classes? Are you in counseling? Do you have a real job to do? Do you have to wash dishes or cook or clean or, you know, that, I mean, what?
Absolutely. Do you want me to tell you what a typical day looks like throughout the period? Because it's set up like an academy, right? It's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And the first 3 months, you learn how to have boundaries, set boundaries with yourself, with others. You learn the rules. You learn not to talk about the past because some people go into these situations and that's all they do. They glorify whatever they've done. And that's not what we came to do, came to change. Then you get called off to a job or a vocational program. And this is where you start learning how to work, have the work ethic, be able to communicate with other people in the community, be able to like congregate with other people as an individual every day, right? So I've been called off to the furniture boutique, the first rotation I had. And then I was a freshman crew boss for about a year. And I was helping all the newest women that came into the program, the rules and the tools, which is the most important job in the house because you're learning to teach people how to love themselves, how to share love with others, how to set boundaries with others that they've never done before. So that was a part of, and then I got called back off to the boutique. So what my day looks like as a senior right now, because I did my junior stay and my sophomore stay as a freshman crew boss, and now I'm back at the boutique. I help run deliveries. I help move furniture around. I help people get their whole apartment set up for their new furnishings if they got a new apartment. But I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I'm on the floor by 7. We have a great morning entertainment that sets off everybody's day. Everybody gets a day that they get to get up there and teach people how to shrink wrap a couch, or we just recently had one. It's all within the house, so it sets off a good tone for your day, right? A good little funny before you start your day off. I go to work. I work from about 8 to 5. We get off at 6. We have a tight little knit, and I work at the furniture boutique, so if you guys need any furniture, come and see me, I'll help you out. We have really good furniture right now. And then we get home and we get to eat with our family. We get to, have conversations with what their day looked like because other women in the program, work in different departments. I get to hear what they went through that day. And then we usually, on Mondays and Fridays, we have groups where I've gotten most of my help from, is where we pull each other up throughout the week. We set a boundary, and you can't go back and forth. So after that pull-up is made, you can come to these group settings and have those conversations. And then on Mondays, we have function where our whole family gets together and we get to have karaoke. We have fun things, and the whole entire house is there. All 80 of us get to learn how to have these fun interactions with each other. Tuesdays and Fridays, we have groups. On Wednesdays, we have people come in from the community. Like Lola said, come in, visit our campus. It's beautiful. We've had the Attorney General come in and speak for us. We've had really cool, Ben and Jerry's came in and spoke to us. He served us ice cream. So we have great people that come in. And then on Thursdays, we have we had TED Talk where we get to see some people that, throughout the world that, in a positive manner. And then Sundays, we have 4 hours down. Saturdays, we have a huge family function. Last night, we had bowling. We set up a room. Our ballroom is this big, and they set up a whole bowling course for all of us to play. So that's what that looks like. Sunday leadership. So we're reading a book right now. I forget her name. Her name is Brene Brown. And we're all, do you guys know about this book? So we get to have leadership, and, people throughout our community get up there and stand up and talk about what we've read throughout the week. We get to learn what everybody else is at in the house, because as men and women, we're separated. We program together, but we're not allowed to talk, so we get to see where everybody's at within the house, and what we get to learn throughout the week, what we've done as leaders. So it's like a leadership school, right? You get there and you're broke, and you learn, you get to it's in each one, teach one. You get to learn what the next person's given you and teach it to the next person, and they define it and make it better and better and better until you get to become something like this.
This will be our last question. But hopefully afterwards you all can stay for a little bit. I know Pastor Sam has to get to.
All good.
But go.
Thank you all, and thank you, Monica, for that. That sounds just so incredible. My next question has to be, how do you leave? After 30 months there, I would think moving on and getting away from such an incredible community would be really hard.
So you don't leave, right? You're once you get there and you realize how much you need this place, even when you start working out in the community, they don't leave. They continuously come back because they have learned connection, which is such a great thing that most of us our whole lives have never really had. So you don't leave, and you're welcome back into this community forever, right? I see some of the people, I just want to let you know, they offer financial literacy. You're put on such a high trajectory as a individual. Your bar maybe have been right here when you first got there, this is where I want to be. But when you're sent off into the community, you're way up here. There's no way that you can fail, really, right? And you always have the people to come back to when you have a rough day, and you need to have some of those questions, but you don't leave. You stay there forever mentally, I think, right?
That's a good question. If you did decide, when you do decide to graduate, we do have a graduate program. You transition into your graduate program. What we do is we get you a job. We have people in the community that support the Other Side Academy by hiring our graduates. So anywhere from Cisco to anybody familiar with H.W. Holmes, we have lots of people in the community that hire our graduates. Then you transition to our graduate program, and you're able to stay there for up to a year with very minimal rent, $200 a month, and save your money. You stay connected to the program. We do have a financial literacy class that has a very robust curriculum. One of the most important things they teach you is budgeting and saving money, and there is a savings match. So if the financial literacy program is a year long, you're expected to save $5,000. if you successfully complete the financial literacy class, they match your savings dollar for dollar. If you electively decided to stay at the Other Side Academy for more than the 30 months, then the savings match goes up to $2 per dollar. So you'll graduate, $5,000 saved, and then the bank will give you one of those enormous checks for $10,000. And then that money's used to pay off your fines, maybe reinvest it, maybe use that money to transition into your own apartment. So we really do try to look at each individual that comes to us and focus on every area of their life so that there's no opportunity for failure.
Well, thank you, all three of you, so much. People will come up here for sure.